Valentine. How are you doing? I hope uko salama kabisa, and if you have a loved one, then you have a plan. If you have not already treated them, thank you so much for choosing Family TV and Family Radio this beautiful evening. My name is Sarah Otieno. We are live on This Is The Day, and today the topic is a bit interesting, related to the day, Valentine and emotional health. So most of the time we just celebrate this day, not considering someone somewhere may not have the means or even may not be having a loved one to celebrate this day with. Do you even consider the emotional health when you post all these things on Facebook, and social media is a bit intensive when it comes to this day. And trust me, when report comes out, I will share with you, because it is one of the days that people post a lot of things on social media. But how about that person who has nothing to post? How is this day affecting them emotionally? Yeah, that is our discussion today. And I have in studio Nyrene Begum and Seth Kariuki. They are psychologists. I got that name right,
yes,
eh? I feel so proud, eh? Anyway, why are you guys not in red?
Actually.
What am Java red?
Yeah.
At least
We
I'm
didn't
in
want to
maroon.
blend
It's better.
I actually realized it was Valentine like at 11 in the morning, so yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Seth, we mbona ujava? But your tie has a bit of some red,
Yeah,
yeah?
it has some maroonish, but from a guy's perspective,
It's
I
red.
was not remembering the date.
Oh, okay.
Bebe, I hope you do not have a partner who is listening, because he ni shida.
I hope I'm
Anyway,
not.
thank you so much, guys, for coming today.
Yeah.
Before we go on, I want us to look at some of the information when it comes to Valentine and emotional health, and then we'll be back to discuss some of the reasons as to why people are not very happy or end up being depressed because of this day.
Yeah.
So just take a minute and listen to this. Many of us struggle to live up to the ideas we see on TV, in advertisements, and on social media. That is why for many people, whether they are in a relationship or not, days which are supposed to celebrate love and togetherness can only highlight how different, alone, and low we feel. Feeling lonely isn't in itself a mental health problem, but it's sometimes what a lot of people with mental health problems struggle with. You can feel alone for many reasons. It's not only about not having someone around. Loneliness is simply about not feeling connected. Seeing other people promote their happiness on social media makes things even feel worse, with others rushing into stores to buy gifts and others taking their loved ones out to expensive restaurants. How does one feel when they cannot afford to do the same to their loved ones? Can this be a cause of stress and a risk to someone's mental health? Well, that is the question. Can it be a source of stress when you cannot afford to take your loved one out? Maybe you cannot afford that expensive gift, or even you do not have that loved one to give these kind of gifts. Can that be a source of stress? And I want us to start our discussion off from there. But remember, you can join the discussion. Text us through the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 and the SMS line 20316. But first, I want to start with you, Nyrene. Why do you think some people end up being stressed during Valentine?
Because of all the hype. The day itself is very hyped up. Corporates go out of their way to hype it up.
Yes.
I even saw some Truecaller people hyping it up, even apps that have nothing to do with love and affection and anything like that. Yeah. So companies will definitely take advantage in an effort to make as much as they can from this day. That causes stress because somebody may be alone, as you said, or they can even be financially unable to attain those things they feel they deserve or their loved one deserves. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. And to you, Seth, maybe,
Yes.
who are these people who can be affected? And as maybe someone can just say, as a woman, I might be affected because I do not have a loved one, a husband, or even a boyfriend to give me flowers.
Yes.
But do you think it's also the same for men?
Yes. Anytime you see an event being hyped up and you don't have anyone that you can share the same joy, the same feelings with, you definitely feel bad about yourself. Yes.
So even men get hurt.
Even men get hurt.
Okay. You know, they always say that on Valentine's Day, and just a few minutes earlier, my director was telling me, you know, you ladies, you do not have to worry about this because the guy is supposed to take care of most of the things. So you say that even men, when they don't receive something, they get hurt.
Yes, men are human beings, and we have feelings.
Yes.
So anytime you think you're supposed to receive something like a gift and you don't, because of the hype that is going on, then you feel bad about yourself. And you start asking yourself, am I even human? Why has someone not sent me any text today? At least to wish me a happy Valentine's.
Yeah.
Just to wish me a happy Valentine's. Yes.
Okay, so Nyrene, let me ask you a question. Have you sent your loved one a good message today, considering that you remembered at 11?
I haven't.
How did you do?
No, but being 9 years married, I think he'll forgive me. He's used to it, but now I guess.
No. What?
Yeah.
No, has he sent you a message?
No.
You don't catch?
No.
How catch?
No.
Really?
For me, my perspective is this is a very foreign holiday for us, and it's something that has been brought in as a sales gimmick.
Yes.
So for me, I'll give him a very special birthday and do all whatever is supposed to be done Valentine's on his birthday, maybe our anniversary. But for this day, it just usually just passes. Honestly, personally for our relationship, yeah.
Do you hold the same sentiments?
Yes, I do share the same sentiments with Nyrene.
How come I'm different in this set? You
How?
see, I have received flowers, and you can see them just off
Yes.
air, you know. But and I feel like, hey, it's high time I write my loved one a good message. But you guys have not done that. Anyway, you're psychologists. We can understand. Anyway, so to what extent do we say that this day is affecting someone emotionally? I'll start with you, sir.
Anytime you start feeling bad about yourself, anytime you start feeling worthless, and anytime you start feeling like, you know, why is this happening to me? Yes.
Nyrene?
For me, I'd say it begins from someone judging themselves not from your internal self. So you're not feeling worthy from your own perspective. You're using other people's perspectives. So like now, what will happen on social media? Everybody has posted a flower, receiving a bouquet, receiving chocolates, and I haven't. So you find people even going as far as, you have received, so I will take yours and post. From Bay. And I'm very comfortable doing that. And yet my loved one knows he has not sent me flowers. I know these are not mine, these are yours. But by doing that, I've sort of scratched an itch. Let my followers on social media see that even me, I'm not left behind on, in this beautiful day. Yeah.
So if I'm getting you right, then clearly a lot of people get this pressure from social media.
They do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not positive pressure.
Nope.
It's
Not
negative
at
pressure.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's negative pressure. Because if you go to an extent of posting something that you don't have, that has not, you've not been given any gift, but you go ahead and borrow Nyrene's and posts with it, then that means something is not right.
Okay.
Yes.
And what about for people who do not have loved ones for one reason or another? Could be a widow, a widower, or maybe you're not even seeing someone at the moment. And then when you see this pressure from social media, so how am I just supposed to deal with that? I don't have a boyfriend or a husband yet, but my friends are all over. These days we have statuses on WhatsApp, and everyone is posting a flower. And so how am I as an individual supposed to deal with that?
Okay. As an individual, this is something very personal to each person. But again, being able to know that, yes, I'm single for this reason. There is a reason to why you're being single. There is a choice in that matter. And one day does not define you. You are everything that you can be 364 days of the year. Why should this one particular day define who you are, make you feel bad, make you feel unwanted, unloved, and yet on other days you don't feel that?
Yeah.
You see, also in terms of looking at other people, their social media posts, trying to match up, you know, keeping up with the Joneses. So like now I'll look at Sarah, what has Sarah posted, and call Mr. and tell him, okay, look, you better be sending me 24 roses. I don't want to see a dozen. I want two to match up, to better you. You know, I want to be the best on this. So every time now it's constant creation of jealousy, constant creation of keeping up with things that are not even real. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that. So is this, and I'll call it loneliness, you know, and I'll brand it that, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
But is it justifiable?
At some point, it is.
At some point.
At some point, it is. Because we've been wired to think that you cannot love yourself. You can only get love from other people. And as the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So this love should start from you. If I'm not getting a flower, what is wrong with me getting myself a flower? I love myself.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah. So if we get to be whole and develop a sense of, you know, self-worth and self-love, then we're not going to experience loneliness. Yes.
All right. So I want us to just go now to the effects. And I know this is something that a lot of people actually assume. You know, as you said, I'll take your flowers, post it on social media, and yes, boom, we are in the same level.
Yeah.
But not considering the effect, and especially emotional effect, that it has to an individual. And just let's dwell on the individual. Really, what are some of the effects that this kind of loneliness, this day, costs to people?
Well, it can cause even depression. Somebody can now look at this day with dread. You know, this day is coming where everybody is flaunting how much in love they are, regardless of whether that love is real or not. You can have people who are in a very discordant marriages or relationships, but on this day they're holding hands out in, you know, around town, posting photos of themselves, showing that they are very much in love. Whatever we see on the media, what we expect a couple in love to be, that's what they show us. But the truth on the ground is very different, you see. And now you're comparing yourself with that. This is what I want. So even when there is loneliness even within a relationship, so if I and my husband, I want this, I want him to show me off on social media and take me out and all that, and I'm comparing myself with Sarah, who already has that, then I now start creating issues within the relationship. Why can't you?
Okay.
Why can't you take me out? Why can't you show me this? How come you can only buy this for me? How come you can only, you know, those kind of things? And now I distance myself from this loved one of mine, and I start feeling lonely even within a relationship. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you have talked about comparison, and it just struck me. What about these people who are in a relationship, you know, and you expect that your loved one is going to give you something good? You know, you expect surprises, and then it doesn't happen. I'm already picturing that. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And here you are, you know, umengojea some flowers, some chocolate. Maybe you're waiting, you're dressed to kill. Unajua, after this, maybe I'll be surprised to some dinner. Then you don't even receive a phone call that day.
Yeah.
What happens to them?
It's those we call them the must thoughts. So like now I must, I should, I ought to, you know, those are thoughts now that because I am in this relationship, I must be taken out for dinner on Valentine's. I must receive a gift worth this amount. I must do this and I must do that. You see, but you've not communicated those needs or those wants to your partner. You're expecting them to think through your own brain, read your mind somehow, and come up with this fantastic idea. Okay, men are not geared generally that way. They're not mind readers.
Yes.
Do you agree with that? Before, sorry, Nirene, to
No
cut you
worries.
short, but do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. Communication is the key element in every form of relationship.
Yeah.
Be it a romantic relationship, a working relationship. Without communication in a relationship, that relationship is doomed to fail. So
Wow.
if you don't communicate what you expect, and conclude that Seth is going to think that I love flowers and is going to buy, you're in for a rude shock.
So new kweli.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. And we use honestly, we use Hollywood, where you have all romantic comedies. They show the guy coming and either rescuing the damsel in distress, and then he's so thoughtful. He'll make dinner.
Wow.
He will buy. He will know your shoe size. He will buy exactly what you want. Mr. Perfect.
Yes.
Keep in mind that his guy is acting, number one.
Wow.
Number two, he's reading from a script, which was maybe written by a woman. So
I'm telling you, that is hard
Reality.
truth. Ile yenye it hits and you're like, what? Enyewe.
yeah. So we have to live in reality. In as much as you may want something, think about it realistically. Are we financially able to do this? Number one. Number two, are we emotionally able to do this? So you can have a relationship of 2 weeks and you expect the guy to do the things for you
Yeah.
that someone who's been in a marriage of 10 years is being done for them. You see, you're on different levels.
Okay. All right.
How much have you invested? And while you're waiting, as a woman, I know our perspective is we want.
Yes.
This is the day where we are the takers. Usually we are the givers, but this day we want to be the takers. But have you communicated what you want? There is no shame in telling him, by the way, this time I'd like us to go for dinner, or I'd like us to do this. And at the same time, remember, it's a day for love, sharing. So while he's doing all this for you, what have you done for him? How have you reciprocated your show of love for him? Yeah.
All right. But then again, and Maggie here is texting in, and Asema, thank you for that discussion. We have someone who texted in, and a long story here. Your name is Jay. Even though imeandikwa kwa WhatsApp, you didn't tell me your name, but you're saying, this discussion is helpful. I have been struggling with myself to understand why I feel lonely, especially on Valentine's Day, considering that I am not in any relationship yet. Now I understand that it is okay not to feel okay. But again, correct me if I am wrong. Is it okay?
It is okay to feel it's okay not to feel okay.
Really?
Yes. Yes, because these are just normal mental processes.
Yeah. We're talking about this, and you've termed the word mental processes.
Yes.
And it has just hit me. Do you know how much people value this day? Yeah? People value it so much, and I tend to think sometimes it's overrated. Sorry, by the way, I'm sorry if you really are overrating this. But again, let's look at it now from the marriage perspective and the emotional effects, and maybe they're positive, of that person who has received everything. This day is just a special one for them. Is there anything good that comes with it, especially emotionally?
Well, yes, it's a day where women feel there's a channel open now for a man to communicate emotionally. Especially here in Kenya, if I talk generally about Kenyan men, there's a limitation on how emotionally, how they communicate emotionally to their spouses. So there's a very nice ad of someone saying, I just nakuangalia tu vile uko, are you okay? That means in brackets, Kenyan speak for I love you.
Yes. Nakuangalia vile.
Yeah. Just checking on you, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to translate that. So this is a day when women feel like, now, okay, I have the opportunity to get this man to communicate to me in a language I understand how he feels. Does he really love me? Is there really affection here? But the problem is, you're using another person's perspective of how love is communicated. There are very many different ways of communicating love. And when you limit yourself to this particular one, gift giving, and maybe his way of communication is not gift giving, so you've already handicapped him.
Disappointed him
and yourself. Yes, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Seth, let me ask you.
Yes.
You know, and this will go a bit economically, because during this time we have a lot of people selling flowers. There's so many people selling goodies, and you pass through town and you're like, where? Anyway, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
So here I am. I'm passing through town, and there are so many people selling flowers, and I know I will not receive a flower, but I have my mother somewhere, you know. Is it right for me as a person to channel that love to a different direction?
Yes. Valentine's is all about love, and not just love towards a person you are emotionally intimate with, but it can also be expressed towards family. For example, a sister, a brother, or a parent. So it's okay to buy a flower to express that love to another person. Yes.
But we've also had and have people who just walk in the streets and give people flowers. Ethiopia, is it just also a form of love?
It is a form of love. Yeah. Okay. Because as you're putting it, there are people who will not get a chance to receive a flower today. So if you receive a flower as you walk home, even from a stranger, you actually feel good about yourself. If a stranger can see that I deserve a flower, then it means I'm generally good, I'm worthy, generally attractive as a person. Yes.
All right. So here is some of the advice that you gave to someone who maybe does not have a partner or does not have someone to show them love or to show love to. Here's some of the advice that you gave them, and please continue sending in the comments and questions. Some of them are just flowing in right now as we speak, and we'll be answering them in a short while. 0786-316-316, that is the WhatsApp number. SMS line 20316. Let us look at what you had to advise them about.
If you don't have somebody that is courting you, you really don't have to worry, because it will come. Even us, it just came when we were busy in our lives or with our lives, and these things came. Matters to do with love came, and we thank God that we are there.
You cannot say you are lonely just because you don't have a friend or a lover. You can share your love to somebody who is in need. Yeah, the needy person, the sick. You can go outside to reach out to the hospital and share your love to the sick.
No one is an island, and everyone, I believe, comes from a family. If you don't have a lover, you have a sister, you have a mother, you have a brother, and so on. So you can at least appreciate the love from your mom if you don't have a lover, a love from brother, and even a friend.
Unless yourself you don't appreciate that you are also created with others, you cannot say you are alone. Because all what you know, you need to realize is that the people who love you are always allowed you. It's only that you are supposed to change your attitude toward being lonely, but also to appreciate even those who allowed you as people whom you have been given opportunity to share life together with.
Love doesn't mean that you have money. You can even show your love without money. So let them just be close to their families and show them love. Just talk to them, show friendliness to them.
Flower sio lazima, bora akuwe ako mzima na bora ako na uzima.
So clearly, from the information that we are getting from you, then it's not that you are lonely. You can channel your love to other places. But I want us to talk about something else, more of the effects that are caused to us by this day. You know, social media is there, and Lucy just texted me in because I posted a photo of my flowers on Instagram, and she texted me in akiniambia she showed the flowers to a friend who was like, boom, what? Amepata flowers. So that is one of the effects, and that is just an example of what happened. So Nirene, apart from depression, are there any other effects negative effects and emotional effects, for that matter, that come with this day?
Definitely. If we're talking through social media in itself is very addictive. So you find somebody, going to look for that hit, through social media, even though they know it's causing them pain. So it's like, when you're watching a horror movie and you're covering your eyes, but then you're looking through the fingers, you're still seeing, but it's like, I want to protect myself, but not really. Yeah, that's what they do. So you'll find somebody maybe feeling that I really don't need to see this, or I don't need to feel this way, but they keep on going through. Especially they will look for people either who have have a social media presence, or even their relatives and friends who they know are in relationships. So they kind of dig their own hole and continue digging themselves deeper, making themselves feel sad, making themselves feel like victims.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah.
Comparison.
Yes.
You talked about that, and if my husband does not give me flowers that are so many in the colors that I want, and I see the same with another person's profile pictures and all that, I feel like that can also cause conflict in marriage. I don't know.
Definitely it can, in any relationship. In fact, in your relationship with yourself, when you're comparing yourself to somebody else and saying that this person has this and why don't I have it, what is stopping you from, like what Seth said, showing yourself love? What is stopping you from taking yourself for a spa, giving yourself a hair do, going and taking yourself to dinner in a fancy place? Give yourself that love which you're expecting another person to give you. And the problem with social media is fake. People need to understand that. In as much as, yes, we always share, but we always share the happy moments, the
good moments.
Yes. There is no one on social media posting pictures when they're sad, when they're down, when they've had a fight with their husband or their loved one. The photos, even if they've had a fight, it will be, we have fought, come here, let's smile, cheese, let's post that, go back and continue fighting, So me as your follower, I'm seeing that this person never has issues in their marriage. How come mine I have? How come we are like this? How come we're not like them? And that causes a problem, because I'm evaluating myself not from my perspective, but from how the world is seeing this particular person. And I feel that I should be judged the same way. So you're basically, again, digging yourself into a hole that you can never come out of.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. Well, Mr. Seth, let me ask you a question. So this is someone that has texted in. I like the conversation, but what about those who have been married for so long that the love has faded? So this day is not important to them.
Yes, some people would say that love fades after some time.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of your relationship. It depends on how you are relating with your partner. And because sometimes you show love to someone, you do all it takes to make them happy, but they don't seem like they appreciate your efforts. And so you start saying, instead of me trying to please them, let me just go out and probably look for someone else who is going to accept me. Yes. So with that, there's an example I have. There's a husband who was talking to a wife, and then the wife told the husband, I've never heard you say that you love me. And the husband looked at the wife and said, on the wedding day, right in front of 1,000+ people, I said I loved you. That has not changed. When it changes, I will let you know.
Oh my God. Oh. Okay.
Yes. But you have to again understand love language, your partner. We have different ways of expressing love. For example, there are people who love to be touched. There are people who love to spend quality time. There are people who love gifts. There are people who love, things like nature walk and all. So do you understand your partner's love language? Because you might kill yourself going to buy expensive gifts, and this other person
They
just
don't
like,
even
whatever.
like it.
Yes, they don't even like it. or at some point when people are married, there are so many things involved, including children. And men have complained that when ladies get children, they shift all their attention to the children. Yes. So we just sit there and wonder, it was all good before you little you little people came into our lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes the blame can be on the children.
Sometimes the blame can be on the children. Yes, and something that happens unconsciously.
Wow. All right. I'm interested to ask, what about people who break up on Valentine's Day? Because as much as people are enjoying themselves today,
Yeah.
there's a number of breakups. That we must agree because of one reason or another.
Yeah.
What about them? And maybe to avoid such emotional damage, how should people deal with that?
Well, we have to now dig deeper and see what is causing the breakups. Is it you putting too high expectations on your partner, unrealistic expectations? For example, somebody who is living in a house where they pay rent of 15,000, expecting to be taken to Kempinski for dinner. I mean, let's be real, you know, it's not going to happen.
It's not working.
And even if it does, how much stress have you caused this other person to do that, you know, to take you out there? So there is a lot of heartache involved on this day, but what is your role? And it's something you have to analyze yourself very, very candidly, and you tell yourself, you know, because no one is, you know, we say when two dishes hit each other, or you cannot clap with one hand. You know, what is your role in this conflict, and what was your partner's role, and then now what is your goal? Is your goal to fix it, or is your goal now to move away from this relationship? Because you'll find somebody will make an excuse to break up with you, and really that holds no water. They've just made up something, made up a fight, because their goal is to break up with you. That is their end goal. So now you have to decide, is this relationship worth being in? If not, then now there's no real reason to stay in it and continue with the conflict. If you want to stay in there, then how can you resolve that conflict? Yeah, and then you work towards that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. Someone has just texted me in here. Your name is Blessed for Life. I'm still trying to remember your name. Well, thank you so much. You're saying, my 12-year-old wrote me a lovely message that made my Valentine. I was so moved and encouraged. That's all I needed. Hubby did gifts, but with my boy's message, that made my day lovely. Been married for 19 years. I support they're actually calling you a couple. No, they're not. They're colleagues, my dear. And she's adding, it doesn't have to be the husband or the wife, even the children.
Yes.
Wow. So this day also includes the children.
It does.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like I said before, it doesn't have to be husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend affair. You can loop in your family members, your children, so that you enjoy the day and feel the love. Yes.
She's actually sent me a photo of the card that was written.
nice.
And please just allow me to read this. So, my dear mom, happy Valentine's Day to you. You have shown love and care to me, and to me the second I was born till now. This is the best I can thank you. Love you so much, your dear son, Promise. Oh, this
that's
is
lovely.
So sweet.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Wow, it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So I can gift my sisters flowers this evening.
Yeah, feel
Yes.
free.
Feel free.
Please, I don't want to put myself in a box. But from the look of things, tayari nimeingia kwa that box. So continue sending in your questions and also all the comments that you have, because we'll be highlighting some of them after this short break. We'll listen to some music, and this song is just about love. So please, if you do not have someone to show love to today, and don't tell me you don't have someone, you have family members, then please just show love to yourself. My name is Sarah Otieno. Today being Valentine's Day, we are talking about Valentine and emotional health. And in studio, I have Nyreen Begum. Woo! I felt so nice just pronouncing this name correctly. Because the other time I was goofing. Anyway, and Seth Kariuki in studio. They are psychologists from Hisia Consultants, right? And there's a question. First of all, Calvin Waronga is saying, the topic today is on fire. I have no questions. I'm just learning. Thank you so much, my friend, for tuning in today. And the name of the lady who texted in earlier is Rose. Rose, asante sana for your comment and for your contribution. We have a question here, and I want you to help us understand this. So, sometimes the guy are stingy and hide behind a religion. They do this not even considering the effect that when they do not do something, it might have an effect on the women. Well, that is tough. Seth, please to say. I see Irene is looking at you. Yeah.
Sometimes men are misunderstood as stingy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you see a man hiding, there must be a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there must be a reason why he is hiding.
Mm-hmm.
And men, they derive their esteem from what is in their pocket.
Yes.
So if I don't have anything in my pocket, then I'll find another excuse, because I just can't walk to my girlfriend and tell her,
Mm-hmm.
there is flowers, chocolates, blah, 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 but I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Yes, because there's women who've been quoted saying that we know love is not money,
Mm-hmm.
but will we eat love?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So when you see a guy hiding behind a religion or, the men's conference today,
Oh, yes.
how
Uh-huh.
there must be a reason.
Yeah.
Yes, and like they were asking, when are we switching off our phones so that we don't get the calls from our ladies demanding for things. Maybe you are demanding for things that are not to his economical reach. Yes.
All right, Larry, your view on that?
Well, now my view will be now from the female side,
Yes.
where we feel very victimized
Yeah.
by men who are not willing to show us love. Now, remember, like what Seth had mentioned, there are different languages of love, and you really need to understand what is your partner's language of love. So this day, remember, it is a sales thing for companies to make money, a lot of money from this day. So while your partner's language may not be gift giving, they may perform a service for you. Maybe they will decide to cook breakfast or dinner or give you a massage, something. The same time, like now, is it Rose who shared?
Yeah.
Her husband gave her gifts, but what touched her was her son's words, which means if her husband wants to get to her heart, he should use words. That is her language of love. But maybe his language is gifts.
Yeah.
So for him, maybe he thought, my darling wife of 19 years, I appreciate her so much. I'll buy her ABCD to show her how I love her. And yet for her, words would have been enough.
Words would be enough.
Yes.
All right.
So understanding what is the language of love, and you don't have to be stingy or hide behind. You can always do something or make something or find something within your pocket budget that will cater to your loved one's needs. I'll give you an example with my husband. There's a time he came from work he came with a rose, which I don't know legally aliokota wapi, honestly. I don't know. It was not very beautiful. It had been eaten with the dudus and burnt by the sun, but I'm telling you that rose, I have it. It's in a book. Yes.
It's withered, right?
Yes,
But you
yes,
still have
dried.
it.
I have it.
Wow.
Whereas on other days, birthdays, like now Valentine's and things like that, he's brought bouquets, which must have cost him more.
Yeah.
But those ones, they wither and you put in the dustbin.
Yeah, sure.
Because for me, it meant more. That he actually saw something that was beautiful and he thought, this is nice for my wife. That, well, for me, it communicated more to me. So for the ladies who feel like their husbands are being stingy or their boyfriends are being stingy, just communicate which language do you prefer, and then now tell them this is what I expect, and then now find out from him also what does he prefer, and then now use that his language to communicate how affectionate you are towards him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but there's this notion of happily ever after. And most people dwell with the why is this happiness being cut short, So what do you have to say about that?
Well, you see, as children, we grew up with those stories, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, where
Wow,
you
that
meet,
took me back.
you meet Prince Charming, and they lived happily ever after. Now, growing up, we have that in mind, that once I meet Mr. Right or Miss Right, will be good, that the work is in meeting that person. Beyond that, there's not much effort to put in. Any relationship requires effort, a lot of effort, to keep it sustained. So while you may say that love is fading away, we're no longer as in love as we were when we started dating. What you felt at that moment was not love, that was passion. Love is an emotion. So an emotion comes and goes. Can you say that you're constantly happy? Or that you're constantly sad? It's an emotion, so it comes and goes. But you can say, like, now I feel happy in my life, or generally I feel I'm in love with this person, because the emotion keeps on repeating itself. It outweighs the other negatives. But then there is a lot of work that comes into being in a relationship, a lot of understanding, a lot of learning about the other person, showing affection even when you're not in the mood for showing affection. And that means you have actual effort. And as psychologists, we always encourage, you have to come for therapy at least 6 months in the year, and then again after 6 months, just to make sure, the way you go to a doctor to make sure you're okay, just to make sure your relationship is okay.
Wow.
Because what happens, someone will do something to offend you, you put it on the back burner, again you do something to offend that one, and these things are piling up. Children are born. After some time, now social expectations, you're living together, but you're living as roommates. There is no love there, there's no affection, no passion, no intimacy. In terms of intimacy means I can now come to you with my issues, and I know my issues are safe with you, and you can do the same to me, and that is all gone. So these people, basically, you're sharing a last name, and you're sharing rings on your finger in a house, but that's it. There is no other connection. So where did the break happen? You'll have to now take us back years and years. And the problem is, people usually go to therapists and come to see us once the relationship has reached breaking point.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And why not? Prevention is better than cure. Come in while we can prevent, so that we teach you even those languages of love, and we teach you how you can communicate, so that you can make your own happily ever after. It doesn't just happen, you make it.
Like in the movies and books.
Oh yes. So if you want your Prince Charming and you want to be the Cinderella, know that Cinderella was hardworking. So you'll also have to put in the work. Yes, definitely.
Right. Wow, I like that.
Just to add on what she has said,
Yes, please.
any relationship between husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend is you are a team. You are two people who should be ready to fight together, not with each other. Of course, there's going to be times where you're going to have those small fights, but you need to fight together to overcome these challenges. Because if one partner is not willing to fight, then at some point the other partner will give up fighting for the relationship, which happens most of the time. Yes.
I like that. So please, guys, help us understand, what are some of the things to consider to make sure that at the end of this day we're not emotionally damaged, and we are very much okay and happy, even despite the fact that we might not be having someone to show this love?
I would say you look for self-love first. We look for love from other people to give us, so that we feel that hole, the hole in our hearts, let's put it that way. Whereas if you have enough love for yourself, it overflows, and you're able to give to other people, and you feel that sense of contentment. So if the other person doesn't reciprocate the love back to you, you're still in a good place.
Wow. So self-love.
Self-love, that's what I would say. Learn to love yourself first before you expect others to love you.
All right. Seth?
Yes, love yourself first, like Nirene is sharing, and don't put so much expectations on your partner. I mean, you've interacted with this person for the last 365 days. So you know how they behave, you know how they are, you know what they can afford, you know what they can do, you know what they cannot do. So don't raise your expectations very high just because of a single day. And like we were saying, this day costs a lot of relationships, because you know, your expectations have not been met by your partner. Yes.
There's a funny one here.
Mm-hmm.
Did I just hear that brown lady speak Swahili at some point in this discussion? Nairi.
Mume wangu Mswahili, ilibidi nijifunze lugha.
Wow. Well, it looks like you do not know Swahili. You don't know how much Swahili you speak.
Well, I try. I'm still learning.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but my husband is from he's a Swahili, so I had to learn it. Definitely.
Definitely.
Yes.
Well, she did. Na amerudia, amezungumza Kiswahili. Well, thank you so much for that. You're very keen and I like that. Although you didn't tell me your name. So please just ni text to for my own contentment. I'll feel really nice when you text me your name. We have Maggie. Maggie is texting in and saying, I love the discussion. I have really learnt a lot. Although I have no one to share my love with, I know that I have myself. Wow.
Yeah,
Good.
that's beautiful.
Good. That's
Yeah.
the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And you also have, I'm trying to get the name, Martha. Martha is saying it's really important to know that sometimes finances are the ones that cause breakups, especially on this day.
Very true.
What you were just saying a few minutes ago.
Yes, very true.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Finances play a critical role in relationships. Yes.
Mhm. So finance
Yeah, finance.
plays a very big role.
Yes.
Lastly, just wish someone. I know you have not done this. Maybe this is a chance for you to make it different, you know, today.
Okay.
Your Valentine message maybe to your husband.
Okay, to my husband. He's called Ali. So I'll say to my darling Ali, thank you for the years. And I pray that God will give us many more with understanding and affection. Yeah.
Wow. Seth?
Yes. To my one and only girlfriend,
Wow.
Joy Faith, I wish you a happy Valentine's today. Enjoy. I also wish my family members a happy Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Yes.
Family members, utaki kusema?
Yeah, wako tu.
Takungojea kwa
Family
yeye.
members, yes, of course, there's love. Yes, I love you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
And mine goes directly to you. Thank you so much. And for always choosing and tuning into This Is the Day and just supporting family media in very many different ways. A happy Valentine to you. And trust me, we love you so much here at Family Media. And please continue supporting us in each and every way that you can. Even tuning in today and all the SMSs I have received. It is courtesy of your love. And thank you so much for that. Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming today.
Thank you. Thank you for having
And
us.
teaching us about love and how we can be emotionally stable about it. So please, if you're hurt today, know how to work around it because you can do it. Tomorrow is another day. Cynthia?
Right. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And have a lovely evening and Valentine Eve, please.
Thank you.
Mkuwe na jioni poa.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank
You
you too for tuning in to This Is the Day. My name is Sarah Otieno, and Mos Mushoki is coming in on Family Radio 316 with Prayer Circle. So continue sending in your prayer requests, your praise reports. And today he's talking about a very interesting topic, boy child. So you better listen and just learn together with him. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening.